If you've applied to hundreds of jobs and still aren't getting interviews, it's probably not because you're underqualified, it's because your resume is getting filtered out, and most people have no idea why. To put this into perspective, in 2025, Goldman Sachs had over 360,000 applicants and accepted just 0.7% of those. I ended up getting offers from them in 2 separate divisions. I recently graduated and I've spent a lot of time figuring out what actually works when it comes to resumes, interviews, and getting hired. I learned this simple truth. You don't need to be the top of the class, you need to clearly show what problem you solve and how well you solve it. So in this video, I'm going to break down why you're not getting interviews, what actually matters, and exactly how to fix it. Most people approach the job search like this. They go on LinkedIn or Indeed and they apply to 50, 100, even 200 jobs, using the exact same resume every time. And then they wonder why nothing happens. But here's the reality. Your resume may not be making it to the company. Many use AI to screen them, and even if a real recruiter looks at it, they spend just seconds looking at your resume, not minutes carefully analyzing it, seconds. So if your resume doesn't immediately stand out, or worse, looks like everyone else's, you're getting filtered out instantly. It may seem unfair, and honestly, I agree. Things aren't the same as they used to be. We have to approach it differently, as you aren't just competing locally, but against the whole world for some of these jobs. Mistake number 1 is mass applying. It feels productive, but it's actually one of the worst things you can do. Because when you apply to everything, your resume is either generic or ill-suited for a majority of the jobs you're applying for. And you blend in with thousands of other people, some from across the globe. What works way better is applying to fewer jobs, but actually tailoring your resume. This will require you to slow down for a moment, think about what you actually want to do, and start working in that direction and building your resume to show your employers your value. Even small changes like adjusting keywords, reordering bullet points, and matching phrases in the job description can make a huge sense. However, even if you stop applying, most resumes still fail for a different reason: execution. And it usually comes down to 2 things: weak bullet points and no real alignment with the job. This starts when you have a lack of research done on the company. Researching is important because if your resume and cover letter are being scanned by AI or only getting a quick glance from recruiters, you want them to see that your values align with the company's, which you can do with just a little research. And when I say research, I just mean skim the company's website for 5 to 10 minutes and include those keywords and phrases you see there. That's what's going to get you a second look. But most resumes I've seen also have this next issue too. They list responsibilities instead of results. For example, instead of saying responsible for managing social media, you should be saying something like increased engagement by 35% through targeted content strategy. Adding in specific measurable numbers is huge and gives recruiters evidence that you are an impact maker instead of simply just someone who had a job. And that's what recruiters are looking for. Plus, it's very likely interviewers will ask you how you did it, and that tees you up to hit a home run and showcase why you are a valuable asset. For example, on my resume, I had a project during one of my internships where I saved the company over $2 million. That one bullet point alone helped carry me through my interviews. Almost every interviewer asked me about it, and it gave me the opportunity to prove how I think and solve problems. Mistake number 3, you don't know how you're being judged. This is a big one. Most people don't realize their resume is being compared to hundreds, dozens, thousands, or more for these prestigious global companies. And so you can't ask yourself, is this a good resume? You need to be asking yourself, is this better than the other ones? And how am I going to stand out? It doesn't just need to be better, but it needs to make you stand out and be remembered amongst the crowd, or it's just going to get skipped or forgotten. Another example, in the last line of my resume, is just a line humanizing me. I just list my skills, hobbies, and interests. People will tell you to leave that out and just pack your resume as tight as possible with your achievements, but I totally disagree. The last line always got at least one comment or question during my interviews. You have to remember, they're hiring a person for the job, not AI, so don't be a robot. At this point, you now have a framework, but this is where most people get stuck, because it's really hard to see what's wrong with your own resume. You might think it looks solid, but small issues can completely kill your chances without you realizing it. So here's what you should direct your focus to. 1, strong bullet points. Every bullet should show impact, include numbers if possible, and be easy to scan. You want recruiters to see it and think, Impressive. How'd they manage that? Just like my example of the $2 million line in my resume. Clean formatting. If your resume is hard to read, it's already losing. Keep it simple. Clear sections, consistent spacing, and no clutter. Do not have any typos. And brain rot is real, so keep it one page with a blank backside. And when I say stand out, don't get the wrong impression and go changing the colors. Black and white will do just fine. Number 3, relevance over quantity. It's better to have fewer, stronger experiences than a bunch of weak, irrelevant ones. Plus, you really want to be prepared for questions, so don't put something in there that you aren't confident in speaking about. Number 4, learn your resume. Tying into the last one, don't put anything on there that you can't confidently talk about. Think about what questions someone might have and try to answer them. If you continually struggle to explain it after a few attempts, you probably need to drop that bullet point and replace it. Showcase your strengths. Don't try to seem different than you are. Recruiters will figure that out and you will be cooked when you actually get an interview. Have an example ready that you can speak about confidently and in depth without stumbling through it. Get connected. Once your resume is solid, this one step will be the game changer. I believe it was the turning point for me. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately now that I'm telling you, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at first, this may discourage you if you don't already have connections. But that's not a problem, and here's why. I didn't know anyone at Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs, but I was able to get my name out there through a few simple strategies. Make a LinkedIn account and connect with people at the company you want to work for, then simply reach out and ask for a phone call. I met so many nice people at Goldman Sachs this way, including hiring managers who gave me tips for specific roles I was applying for. Now, instead of just being another resume, you're a real person to the company, and that alone can completely change your chances. Just be respectful and polite if you are declined for a phone call. This works even better if you can also meet recruiters directly at events where they're looking for candidates. These big companies come to colleges a lot, so be on the lookout. Even if you fail a few times, it won't harm you if you were respectful. I know that's a lot, so if you're not getting interviews and want to know why, I'll review your resume and point out what's holding you back and show you how to fix it. Click the link in the description if you're interested. I have a quick turnaround time of just 48 hours for resume reviews, and I also offer coaching calls if you need more hands-on help. At the end of the day, you aren't failing to get interviews because you're not capable. Getting interviews isn't about luck, it's about how you position yourself. And once you fix that, everything will get a lot easier. But now that you've gotten the interview, how do you secure the job? If that's a question you have, subscribe and follow along. My next video will be about actually how to stand out in interviews and secure the job, lock it down, and secure the bag. So if this helped, please drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.